Well, my name is Ben. This is Troy Parker, and Troy is a transporter with One Home Call Services, but he also doubles as a fire safety sort of connoisseur, sort of expert, 28 years experience. So I wanted to just get together and meet with you and talk about. We've got a newsletter coming out this week that is going to be specifically about fire safety. So anyway, we're going to be doing this newsletter about the fire safety, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. I know you've had 28 years experience with chimney cleaning and sweeping. I know you had a business. I don't know much about that. I just found this out a week ago, and so I wanted to pull you in and get an interview done.
Right. Yeah, so we move houses now. We don't play with chimneys anymore, but I still do. After 28 years, I still kind of dabble in it. We're not moving houses in the wintertime, so I get pretty bored for 4 months out of the year. So I decided, well, I'm just going to start that back up again. And, in my small little town, I'm not going to go crazy like in Spokane like I did before, because it was a big business, man. It was 28 years. We were the largest chimney company in Spokane for about 15 of those years, and 2 fireplace showrooms and crew of about 18 people. Wow. So anyway, what we're talking about here is people that have mobile homes, or people that have homes with wood stoves in them, because 90% of your mobile homes don't have fireplaces in them. They have wood stoves, freestanding wood stoves. And, new or old, we've seen all kinds of sketchy stuff to all the way up to new and approved, high efficiency wood stoves, hot rods, I call them. People burn wood to heat their homes up here because it gets cold. Anywhere, the Northwest gets cold. It gets rainy, it gets damp, it gets cold. So people like to burn their wood stoves, and some people are experienced with them, some people aren't. The best I can say is, make sure that your wood is dry and split, and having good dry split wood. And I'm going to walk over here to my wood pile locally in my own shop here, just to give you guys kind of an idea. I have a couple pieces set aside of what a good dry piece of wood looks like. Okay. And I'm going to turn the camera here, but this is basically, if there's cracks in it going across it, you see the cracks. That is good dry split wood. That means 90% of the moisture has been sucked out of that piece of wood. It cracks, it dissolves, and it splits. Kind of like your skin on a coal. If it's really dry, it's going to crack, but if you're putting it in something like this in my shop, which I would not recommend in a mobile home because it's not legal, but it burns a lot cleaner and a lot better. If you're having a problem keeping your wood stove going, and it's smoldering and it's not burning brightly, split wood, that means it's too wet, or it means you need to get a hotter fire going, and add the split or larger pieces once you have a good coal base going, and you burn it with lots of air. The air intakes on the stove need to be open 100%. And then you keep that going for, half hour, and then you can kind of bank it down a little bit with your air controls. If you look out at your chimney and you see just blue smoke, black smoke pouring out, that's not burning clean. That is burning dirty. And what that does is that smoke, all that smoke is what we call a tar fog. The blue and the black and the white is basically moisture coming out of that wood, and it's burning. And what happens is, the farther away from that firebox or that bed of fire gets up the chimney, it cools off as it goes up the chimney. And what it does is, it cools off, it clings to the walls of the chimney going up. Okay. And after time, after 2 cords of wood, 3 cords of wood, your creosote level at that point is about an inch and a half. Well, that inch and a half, if it catches fire, is going to burn at 2,500 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes.
Wow.
Now, what I like to call shiny chimney or hot rod chimney is the chrome chimney that sticks out through most of these homes, right? It looks shiny, looks nice, it's metal. Yeah. Okay, that stuff is spaced 2 inches from anything that can catch fire, 2 inches to combustibles. So in a 2,500 degree fire for 15 minutes, whatever is surrounding that chimney is going to get hot enough to combust. And that's what we call a roof fire or chimney fire. Okay. And usually you can hear it. It sounds like a jet plane or a really, really strong wind. And those are things that cause house fires or attic fires, roof fires that lead to ceiling fires. And Christmas time, fire department comes in and cuts your ceiling open, which is not fun.
Right.
I've seen it 100 times. Now, chimney cleaning on the inner side of this is the most important part of owning a wood stove or any type of fire, wood burning or solid burning, fuel burning appliance, pellet stoves, wood stoves, anything like that needs to be checked annually by a professional. It doesn't have to be certified. It just has to be somebody that's been in business. Check your credentials on these people, read the reviews on who you're looking at hiring. Do they really know what they're looking for? They come out, they do a mechanical cleaning, which means they have a brush or spin rods or something on a drill that actually scrubs all that stuff down to the very, very bottom of the stove. Take the stovepipe off and vacuum it out the top of the stove. You have to vacuum out all the creosote. You can't just sweep the chimney and leave it and say, "Oh, I swept my chimney." That does no good. And we've seen this 100 times. People get up, get a chain, or they run, a piece of rebar, whatever. I mean, that's fine, but you got to go in and actually vacuum the stuff out.
Yeah, and you hit it there on the head, right? It's the creosote.
Yeah, exactly, creosote. Yeah, creosote is what it's called. And you need to use a shop vac with a filter in it, and preferably, a bag like a sheetrock bag. Otherwise, you're going to fill your house full of ash and soot and dust, and Mama's not going to be happy about that.
Right. Amen.
So there's certain equipment that these guys have to come out and sweep your chimneys, like I do. I've learned over 28 years what to do, what not to do, what equipment to use, what equipment not to use. You don't want to dust out someone's nice mama's living room because she will be pissed.
Yeah,
guaranteed, she'll be pissed.
So
and it's honestly, it's about every 1.5 to 2 cords of wood is what the NFPA recommends. That's the National Fire Protection Agency. They're the ones that set the codes and the standards that which we all operate by as chimney cleaners, chimney professionals. And that same goes with any stove in a shop, in a garage. Just because it's in a garage doesn't mean it doesn't need to be cleaned. No garbage. No, don't try to insinuate your trash in your fireplace, because all that stuff, it burns, but all the chemicals and all the plastics and everything else build up inside those chimney walls. And if it catches fire, it's like burning a piece of plastic. It burns hotter. Right. and So, and I also recommend annual chimney cleaning and inspection. If it doesn't need to be cleaned, that's fine. You burn it hot. You say, "Oh, I burn it hot. I don't care." That's great. But at least have it inspected. It's just peace of mind. Also, if you get a receipt from whoever inspects it and cleans it, it protects you on homeowners insurance. Because if you do not do it every year, once a year, and I guarantee you this, check with your insurance company, it's called lack of maintenance. And if your house burns down and you can't show records, you've had it cleaned, inspected, or both, a lot of times they won't cover it because you're lost, because they consider it lack of maintenance.
Right. Now, does that have to be inspected by a licensed inspector?
It needs to be inspected by a licensed in Washington State. We're talking Washington here. In Washington State, it has to be inspected by a licensed general contractor. Now, that doesn't mean anything, because a guy can build decks doesn't mean he knows about chimneys. So I would highly recommend looking on Google, looking up chimney sweep, chimney repair, just chimney sweep near me, I think would be the best. In today's day and age, I used to say go to the phone book, because that's where we all used to live. But nowadays, it's pretty much on Google or Yelp or somewhere like that. Look up licensed chimney or chimney or chimney sweep, chimney professional, and give them a call. You can always shop around, find out who's got the best price. But honestly, from about end of September till about the end of November, we're all pretty booked out. We're all booked out at least 30 to 45 days on chimney.
Schedule early.
Schedule early. August is good. You have all summer long.
Right.
Do it.
It's like buying hay,
Yeah, it's like doing hay. Exactly. It's like
all summer, hay's $5 a bale, but then you need it and it's 15,
Exactly. The price doesn't, and also, but that's a good point, Ben. In the summertime, a lot of companies will be kind of slower because they're not as busy like we are now. You can get deals. I mean, you can get specials. You can get, buy one, get one 50% off. You have 2 fireplaces or upstairs, downstairs fireplace. I mean, you can, square deals. But at this time of year, man, it's like, what do they call it? It's the supply and demand, I guess.
Yes.
But I don't charge more in June than I do in August or September, but in October through November and February, December, I do charge more because the roofs are wet, they're icy, they're snowy, and guys
we used to
in their
sell
butts,
firewood, so I owned a firewood company
you did.
for
That's
years.
right. I remember that.
And,
That's
same
right.
exact thing. I mean, if the snow flies, as soon as the snow flies, my wood doubles in price. I mean, it just does.
Oh, well,
because if I have to bring it out, we used to deliver wood, by the cord, and so if I'm trekking through the snow, I'm getting paid.
Especially if you're stacking it. That's hard work, man.
So I will say a quick shameless plug here. A guy could get over to alternativehomepros.com and find any chimney sweepers they may need. Likely could even find Troy Parker's company on there coming soon. If you're in the Newport, Washington area.
Yeah, we're Newport, Old Town, Priest River, Elk, Deer Park, basically the northern counties, Colville. I stay out of Spokane now. It's just, I'm just too busy for me. So I'm kind of semi-retired. I move mobile homes now, man. That's what I do. And, I really enjoy that a whole lot more. But at the same time, the equal is important. Safety is important. Doesn't matter what you're doing in a business or life. I mean, it's always good to take that extra 5-10 minutes to just make sure your stuff is right. Because, you move a house down the road, you got a loose wheel, you got your loose axles. I mean, things can happen. Same thing with chimneys, man. If you don't take precautions, you don't take, 5-10 minutes, get on the phone to somebody and say, hey, will you please come inspect my chimney and clean it? The average price for a chimney cleaning this time of year, I charge $185, to come out and do a cleaning and a full inspection.
Right.
A lot of people are way more than that. They're, anywhere from $150 to $300. But that's just how it goes. And, peace of mind, what they say is worth, $1 million or more.
Yeah. Peace of mind is definitely worth its weight in gold. I would agree.
It is. Peace of mind. If you hit somebody in the car and you're insured, you're like, hey man, it's all good, But if you do something, you're not in the best position, it kind of stresses you out. So.
Right. All
right. Any more
right.
questions for me, Ben, or is that it?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you have for? Go ahead.
Sorry, one more thing, and this goes back to what we talked about earlier. I saw a house fire the other day when I was up here on the Pondway River, and saw a house fire going. I mean, it was like 30 minutes before the fire department got there. I'm watching this as I'm doing this sweep. This house just got fully engulfed, and you saw a picture of it. And I guess from what I understand is that, cleaning out your ashes from your wood stove.
Yeah.
This is very important. Very, very important. I've seen more house fires by people doing this, and not because they don't know any better. It's because they just forget what they're doing. You clean out your ashes into a metal can, which is smart. That's what you're supposed to do, a non-combustible metal can. Okay. Do not use a shop vac. Do not use a paper bag like my old man used to do. And he was state fire marshal. And let me tell you, he caught a lot of shit for that because something happened. Anyway, beyond that, do not set that can of empty ashes. And even if you think it's cold, you touch the ashes, you scoop it out and you see a little heat, smell a little smoke. You put that on your outside wood deck. Those ashes, those embers sink to the bottom of that metal canister, and the bottom of that metal the bucket gets hot, canister gets hot, red hot, and it'll light your deck on fire. So cement or grass or dirt. That's what I tell people. Cement, grass, or dirt. Do not set that bucket on even in your floor in your house. It goes outside on the dirt, on cement, period. Don't put it in the garbage can. Don't dump it, in a dumpster. That's critically important.
Yes, absolutely. We had a case of that in Madras, Oregon, where some ashes got dumped into a dumpster and caught the entire dumpster on fire just down the street.
Right. It looked like 2022 all over again.
That's wild.
Right. That's right.
You're rioting.
That's true. Yeah. So that is one of the most important things I can tell you. If you can clean your wood stove out, just make sure you properly dispose of it. Otherwise, it can cause just as big a house fire as anything else you do.
Copy that. I wanted to go into some detectors, what your knowledge of detectors might be, and if you have any tips about installation of detectors for carbon monoxide or smoke detectors in general, things like that.
Okay. All right. That's a good question, because I'll tell you, as a professional, carbon monoxide poisoning, dealing with furnace chimneys and gas furnaces and oil furnaces. The smoke detectors belong outside of every bedroom and one in the living room where the wood stove is. Now, if you don't like that because you open the door, you get a little smoke, it sets a fire alarm off, I get it. But you know what? You got to have it.
Right.
Also, carbon monoxide detectors do not belong in a plug-in outlet at the floor level. Okay? Because carbon monoxide builds like water. It doesn't build, I'm sorry, it builds from the ceiling down.
Lighter than air. Right.
The opposite of water. So by the time that carbon monoxide alarm goes off at the wall outlet that is 12 inches off the floor, you're either going to be dead or you're not going to hear it in time.
So what's an advisable?
They make smoke detectors with carbon monoxide detectors built in.
Right.
And I highly recommend doing that because it's at the ceiling level.
Copy.
Or, below the bedroom door. If you're down by the outlet on the floor, those little plug-in ones, they don't do you a damn bit of good.
Yeah.
So
like who's laying on the ground, army calling, right?
Right. So it's just like steam off a car engine. That's carbon monoxide. So if that is going up, it goes up. It doesn't go down this. It goes up and evaporates. But the problem is it hits the ceiling and it stays there and it works its way down.
Copy.
So, but like I said, time you get to the floor, it's pretty much over. Whatever room it's in, not necessarily the bedroom, but I'm saying the room that that's in, if the alarm goes off, by the time that happens, it's pretty much too late. Also,
right,
if you have a gas appliance and you walk in and, before, I always tell people this, when you walk in your house, any house, trailer, mobile home, regular house, you walk in and you smell natural gas, which smells like rotten eggs or something like that. Do not turn the light on.
Right.
Okay. Leave the door open, walk away, call a Vista, call your natural gas company to come and, investigate the situation. Because a lot of times older houses, especially, they don't have safety pilot lights on them. And sometimes the gas will just run and, you don't know that. And you walk in and you smell natural gas. There's a reason.
Right.
If you don't know what natural gas smells like, go stand next to your furnace or your water heater, for a minute or two and smell the exhaust coming. You can actually smell it. So that's all I can say with that. That's equally as important.
If mama's not boiling eggs and you smell it, then get out.
We boiled eggs this morning. I walked in and was like, holy crap, what's going on in here? I don't have natural gas, but I sure thought I did. So right. We have propane. We have propane, same way. If you smell propane, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so that's what I can tell you, my friend. Chimney cleaning, chimney maintenance is extremely important. It also affects your insurance if you don't do it. I can tell you that from a fact. Insurance companies will call it lack of maintenance. So at least once a year, keep the record of whoever it is you had do it. And I would highly recommend keeping those records, and as well as all insurance records or
in a fire safe
in a fireproof safe or somewhere else on the property, because we've had a lot of people up here lost their houses in the big fires up here this last summer, and a lot of their insurance documents were burned up with the fire, titles for cars, things like that, and it's pretty hard to fight with the insurance company when you don't have a basis.
Right.
So keep your stuff locked up away from, if you have a separate garage or shop, put a gun safe or safe in there, keep all your stuff in there, because just mobile home part of it. We've been dealing with a lot of people trying to get replacement mobile homes. And their insurance companies are fighting them. They have no documentation. They got nothing because they kept it in the house, in a file, in a filing cabinet. So better than that, that's fire safety, guys. That's what I can tell you.
Fire safety in a basket.
So
that's about it.
You,
it absolutely does. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with us, and we'll do another meeting here soon about your transportation company and the things you do for people on that aspect. Obviously, Pacific Northwest Used Mobile Homes sells homes, and we obviously 95% of them need to be transported off the property. So Troy's actually going to be potentially doing a job for us up in Newport, Washington. That is where he's from. We have a house just came under contract and is like literally selling the next day.
Yeah, it's a nice house. I've had a lot of calls on it already. So it's
yep. We ended up putting we ended up putting we got an offer on it today. So
good.
Awesome.
Good. All right. Sounds good, man. Well,
well, check out alternativehomepros.com. Check out Pacific Northwest Used Mobile Homes, PNWUMH.com. And Troy, I know you have a website. What's that? You're the number one, right?
It's number one home call services LLC.com. I'm sure you can post it in the.
I sure will.
Because honestly, man, I don't play with that site. I pay people to do that. I'm too old to deal with that.
Not a kid.
So who knows? Who knows, man?
Pay them
look up
to
One
get,
Call Home Services LLC on Google, you'll find me.
Yeah, pay them to get you on Alternative Home Pros. That's where you need to be. So y'all can find Troy's information on Alternative Home Pros. I'm gonna link it here in the video, and he's got a whole profile set up on there. So, all right, buddy. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time, man. It means a lot to me. You took the time to get out here and meet with me today, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person.
Sounds good, Ben. Thanks for your help.
You too, buddy. Talk soon.
You betcha.
Bye-bye.
Bye.